Hello, acronym. So H is have full life. E is everyone is looked after. The first L is listen. The second L is learn, and the O is open to hear God. So we should try and bring, like, every time you're here at NRG Kids, we go by them, but then also it'd be awesome if at home you do them as well, because they're an awesome thing, and it's a cool little acronym to remember, just hello. So our first song is The Lord's Army, which
I think we all know this one by now.
yes. So we chose this one because we know it, and so we can lead it ourselves. So let's get into it.
I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never do more the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm too young to march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I'm too young to zoom on the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm too old to march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I'm too old to zoom on the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. Good job. I reckon we're going to sing that one again.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom on the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm too young to march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I'm too young to zoom on the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. I'm too old to march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I'm too old to zoom on the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. Good job. Okay, so now I'm going to read us a story from our storybook. Hey, boys and girls. Bob called me selfish. I was making out my Christmas list when I got to number 73. A new pink plastic wind-up lobster to keep my blue wind-up lobster company. Bob got all huffy. He said I already had enough toys, and enough toys to keep my other toys company. I didn't get it. So Bob insisted it was time for another story. This one was about a king and his favourite toys. And this story is called King George and the Ducky. King George loved rubber duckies. In fact, he had so many rubber duckies, he couldn't even count them all. But there was one ducky that the king didn't have, Thomas's ducky. We need more men at the war front, sir, said Cedric, the king's general. Send Thomas, the king commanded. Put him at the front of the battle. But he's so small, he'll be creamed, said Cedric. Your king has spoken, said King George. While Thomas was gone, the king snuck into his house and took his ducky. When King George got home, there was a knock at his door. Thomas was all alone on the front line, but he never gave up, Cedric reported to the king. He's a war hero, but I'm afraid he got creamed. King George didn't care. He just wanted to take a bath with his new ducky. Suddenly, a wise man named Melvin came to the castle to tell the king a story. "I must have it, I must get it. The kingdom was at war, the Great Pie War to be exact." Melvin began his story. "There was once a man, a very rich man. He had a lot of sheep. He had a lot of land. He threw a lot of parties. He was a very rich man. There was another man, a very poor man. He had next to nothing, just a little lamb. He loved it like a son. He fed it from his hand." Yes, he was a very poor man. One day there was a guest at the house of the rich man. What did he do to feed the guest of the rich man? "He had plenty of sheep," said King George. "He could share his," Melvin continued. "Wrong. He took the lamb of the poor man." "Who is the rich man who did this terrible thing?" ordered King George. "You are the man," said Melvin. "You were only thinking about yourself and what you needed. You have many duckies. Thomas only had one. You were selfish and took it." King George felt bad. God wants us to think of others first when we're being selfish. We hurt the people around us. "What should I do?" asked King George. "Ask God to forgive you," Melvin explained. "Ask Thomas to forgive you and make it right." "Draw me a bath," said King George to his servant. "I've got to find Thomas." Thomas had never had a more wonderful bath, especially when King George gave him his rubber ducky back. King George told Thomas he was sorry and asked Thomas to forgive him, then prayed and asked God to forgive him too. King George felt better after doing what was right. From then on, he always tried to not be selfish and to think of others first. "Now I know just what to do. Before I think about me, I'd better think about you." And you can read about this in the Bible in 2 Samuel 12, 1-13. God doesn't want us to be selfish. He wants us to think about other people before we think about ourselves. A man named David learned that same lesson in the Bible. Bob was right. I told him I was sorry for being so greedy. From now on, I'm going to share everything, even my hairbrush. Although Bob won't need it. I'm also planning on turning my 73-item Christmas list into a 73 things I can give to others instead. I think that's what God would want, because He wants us to think of others and to give to others, not just to think all that we can get for ourselves. After all, God made you special and He loves you very much. And the verse we have is from Philippians 2:3. "Don't do anything only to get ahead. Instead, be free of pride. Think of others better than yourself." Ready? And we got some actions. So, don't do anything to get ahead. Instead, be free of pride. Think of others better than yourself. Philippians 2:3. So we're going to do that. Don't do anything to get ahead. Instead, be free of pride. Think of others better than yourself. Philippians 2:3. Okay, one more time. Don't do anything to get ahead. Instead, be free of pride. Think of others better than yourself. Philippians 2:3. Good job. Okay. Now we have another song. This is a song that me and Kate love to do. He's got the whole world in his hands. Ready? 3, 2, 1. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the itty bitty baby in his hands. He's got the itty bitty baby in his hands. He's got the itty bitty baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got a unique brother in his hands. He's got a unique brother. In his hands he's got you and me, brother. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister. In his hands he's got you and me, sister. In his hands he's got you and me, sister. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Good job. Cool. Do we want to do that one again? I reckon we do. Ready? He's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got an itty bitty baby. In his hands he's got the itty bitty baby. In his hands he's got the itty bitty baby. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got a you and me, brother. In his hands he's got you and me, brother. In his hands he's got you and me, brother. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister. In his hands he's got you and me, sister. In his hands he's got you and me, sister. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Good job! Okay. So yeah, now we're going to finish up our time together with some prayer. So let's bow our heads and pray. Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet today, and we hope that all the kids are enjoying their school holidays and having a well-deserved break before they go back to school in a week's time. I just pray that everyone's safe and having a fun time, and we hope that we can, and looking forward to being in church hopefully next week. Amen. Amen. So we say goodbye. Goodbye. Bye.